Hey guys, welcome to our day 2 of MERN Bootcamp. Today we'll be talking about Node.js. So as we all know, yesterday what we did was we created a MongoDB Atlas cluster. We connected that to our MongoDB Compass IDE, and then we also tried connecting it with Node.js. If you guys haven't watched that video, please go ahead and watch our first MERN Bootcamp day 1 video. All the description, everything is there in that. We have created a very cool cluster and it was pretty nice. So coming back to Node.js, so what are we gonna do in Node.js? So there are three particular things that we are gonna be learning about it today. So first one is Express Router. Why Express Router is required when we can easily write our APIs using some other method? Like we'll talk about it where we'll simply write app dot something and app dot get and app dot post and it will work. But why we need Express Router, we'll talk about that. We'll also talk about API lifecycle, how request and response are created in API, what is a request, what is a response, and how we can capture the body of a request and headers of the request via Node.js routers. Okay. And the last one that we'll be talking about is authentication. This will not cover the part where we'll be doing JWT token authentication. This will be a simple single token based authentication system where if you have that token in your system, it will allow you to call the other APIs that you have. But once that token is not there and you have logged out of the system, that particular token will expire and it will ask you to log in again. So this is a very simple and very basic authentication system that we are going to learn today. So on that note, let's move on to our code. So just a quick recap of the last code that we wrote yesterday. So it was nothing but simply importing all the dependencies that we need initially to run an Express app. We imported dependencies like Express, CORS, body parser, path, MongoDB, Mongoose, etc. So similarly, today we'll talk more about what else can we do, how APIs are created, and how we can test those APIs and stuff like that. So let's get started over here. We'll start off with creating some APIs which are independent of MongoDB. So let's just start by creating some app.get and app.post API. So I'll just write here get and post API check using app. So as we all know, what we are referring to as app is this. App is equal to express. So we are referring to that. And then let's start writing our APIs like app.get. Then we'll write slash, let's say hi, and then let's just do request response next. So these are some of the parameters that are provided by Express app itself. So you can always create that and you can always see what is going on. So there is one parameter of REST which is rest.send. So hi, I am Sonu. So something like this, and then let's just also create a post API. We'll not do any kind of data posting or something, but we'll just create it so that we are getting some response. Let's just also give it a name of hi, and then over here let's just do request response next, and let's just do rest dot send hi, I am Sonu. So this is a basic example of how we can create APIs in our Express app. Not the right way to do it, but yeah, we'll talk about why it is not the right way to do it. Nodemon index.js. So we are using Nodemon so that any changes that we make is reflected back directly. We don't have to do Control C, load the browser again. So for that case, we are doing it, and let's just go ahead and test it out on Postman. So Postman, guys, is the place where we'll be testing all our APIs. So let's just see what will be our API URL. So it will be localhost colon 4000. 4000 is our port, and then slash hi. So the request over here is get. Let's just do localhost colon 4000 slash hi, and let's just see what it is returning. See, it is returning res.send hi, I am Sonu. Correct? So this is working fine. But now let's just do post and see what happens here. It is also returning hi, I am Sonu. So yeah, things are working fine here. But sometimes when you do curl, etc., these things won't work properly. So for all these things, what we have to do is we have to write app.all slash then request response next uh, over here res.send. You just called post. Okay, so something like this we need to do for doing app.all and everything. So yeah, so this is how this is gonna work, guys. So over here you can see when we did app.all slash, it gave us you just called post. But see how tedious it's gonna be to create everything in app, and then the router, each router just going in and hitting the same app, and there is no routing as such possible over here. So what we are gonna do is we are gonna create a MVC architecture, which is really important, and we are gonna use something called as Express router. We'll create some APIs first. So we are gonna be doing Express router, and on top of that, we'll also try to create APIs, create the MVC architecture, model view controller architecture, where we'll be able to create a collection via our model and then insert data into it in whatever form we need. So we'll be creating the MVC architecture in this particular video, and on top of all of these, guys, we'll be writing our first authentication API, and once we write this our first authentication API, next up we'll write our different APIs that we have. So let's get started with writing something called as a response.json. So this response.json is basically nothing but this response.json is basically nothing but what are the responses that you want to send in case of some kind of error or some kind of success that happens. Okay, so I'll just copy this. You guys can also pause it here and copy these particular things. So this is valid everywhere. So these are the responses you can keep. to be used for further future references, because each time you don't want to, we'll see how each time these things will come. So that's why we are keeping it in response.json file. Okay, so now once we are done with this, we are here. So let's just save this and let's just create a folder called as models. So over here, models will refer to what is the schema that you want to create and which collection you want to target in MongoDB. Okay, so let's just go ahead and create this. So we'll start with, since today we are gonna deal with users, so let's just start with users.js. So I created one folder called as model, inside which I added one JS file which is users.js. So this is gonna take care of my user model. Require mongoose. So we'll talk about how these things are gonna get created or affected. So first of all, what we are doing is we are creating a model, and we always talked about we are gonna do model view controller. So this model will allow you to put in data, whichever data is present, whichever fields are present in this model, only those data will be posted. And if there is some if there is some field missing, that's okay. But if there is some other data that is coming in, then there'll be a problem. So let's go ahead and write mongoose.schema. So this basically is used to define the schema. So let's just write here const user schema is equal to new schema. So we are defining a new schema function from here, and then we are providing whatever fields that we need. So let's start with user. So this is not function actually, this is new. You can call it as a class if you are familiar with the concept of classes. But over here there is no class, so that's why I referred to as a function itself. Okay. So username is, so we are gonna give it a type as string. So now next will be a token. As we discussed, we'll have a token coming in. So we'll provide it type string. Then password. Sorry guys, that was my dog there. So yeah, moving on. We'll have password. So we'll type in password as also a type of string. Email address will be of type string. And then finally we'll have one more thing called as timestamp. So timestamp will help us in capture at what time this particular record was created. We always store it in milliseconds. So we'll provide timestamp as type number. Okay. And we'll talk about how we are gonna create these things. So first of all, let's just go and then write. We want to create a module out of this schema which is there. So we'll write const user is equal to mongoose dot model. So these are the function, guys. These are the predefined function that is given by mongoose. Mongoose dot schema helps you in uh, creating a new schema altogether, and then mongoose dot model helps you in allowing to create that, yeah, which model are which collection are you gonna target. Okay, so we'll just write user schema. Okay, and now if you want to override the existing schema that is there over there, you can provide user and user first. So this first user and user schema will help you in depicting that, yeah, we want to target user with our user schema. But if there are certain fields which are missing, then overwrite the structure and just keep it whatever we need. So this is just for the purpose of there is no problem with the data that we are trying to send. As we all know that a document based database should not have an exact particular schema, but yeah, we can handle it via this. Now moving on, we'll write module.exports is equal to user. So this will export our this particular module similar to our React application. Over here we write module.exports is equal to user. So this particular user.js file is done. Now, since we created a model, what else we need? We need a routing structure. So we'll create a folder called as routes. And inside routes, we'll write, since we are going to do user authentication in this, we'll write user authentication.js. Okay. Sorry. So we'll start off with user authentication.js, and in user authentication.js, what we need is we need two dependencies first of all. Everywhere where you're gonna write your APIs, you need Express to be there. And since we are talked about using router, what we'll do is we'll import router as well, which is basically a function of Express. So we'll write express.router, and we have these two things. But how are we gonna connect this models that we have here to this? So for that, what we'll do is we'll just import a dependency called as user, and which is from our models file and over there users. Correct? Now, now we'll talk about creating our APIs. But before that, you see over here we created a response.json file. So we'll start off with uh, importing that as well. Require uh, library slash response.json, and this will help us in actually having all the responses at one place, and we'll talk about how we are gonna do these responses and everything. Okay, so now let's just start off with router.post. So similar to app.post over here, since app is getting replaced by router, so we'll write router.post slash uh, sign up. Okay, and then request, response, and next. Cool. So this is how we'll write, similar to our app.post that we did. We'll write over here. And if you want to check what is the data that is coming from body, uh, let's just do step by step. Okay, we'll over here write console.log uh, request.body. We'll just test it out first before writing any code inside this. We'll test it out first. What is coming in into this particular API? We'll just write res dot. There are two ways of doing this. One way is writing like this: res dot status 200 dot JSON. Inside this, just write message, and message will be success or hi Sonu. Testing. Let's just write testing. Okay. And over here, we need to write module dot exports is equal to router. Now, this particular file, is it getting used anywhere in our index.js? Because we all know index.js is the place where all the control happens. Whatever is gonna be running, it's gonna be running via our index.js. So let's just check that. We have all these things. So since we are not gonna use this, it was just for our use case. So what we'll do is, for now, we'll forget about it. Okay, and then after all these things over here, let's just import that thing. So we'll write const users is equal to require dot slash uh, we have routes over here, and then after routes user authentication. So now if you do app dot use slash users, so what is happening is we are importing this particular authentication whatever we have, and we know that for a slash we just have to use it because all these post get everything is there inside this particular router itself. So we are just gonna use it. So let's just save this and check. See, error started coming in because we had some error over here, which is basically in users.js where we have wrote mongoose. See over here that error went off. So working fine, right? So now let's just test this. So how do we write a body in our post call? So over here, if you see there is a body, go to raw, go to JSON and just start writing. I'll write name Sonu, address Bengaluru. Okay. So we wrote this, but over here our route which we gave was sign up. So we'll just write slash sign up and we'll see what happens here. That this is a post request which will console.log whatever we are sending in the body, and it's gonna send a status and a message testing. Okay, so we'll go ahead and do that. Okay, see the message came in as testing, and over here you can see the body got printed. If the font is too slow, too small, don't worry, but that body got printed here, name Sonu, address Bengaluru. So this way we can understand, guys, that yeah, the JSON that we passed over here is coming in over here, okay, and it is also sending me a response. So we'll move on and create APIs on top of this. Meanwhile, you guys try it completely. I'll come back after a second. Yeah. So I think by this time you guys have paused the video and tried it out yourself, and things are working fine. If some module or some error is coming up, you can join our Discord channel. The link is in the description. You can post your questions there, and we also have one-to-one live sessions over there, so you can always join that. Okay. So yeah, moving on to our next step, which is what is the actual need of having a sign up, correct? So we all know that when you sign up, what are the fields that we have over here? Let's just look at the fields. So we have username, token is what we will generate, okay? Password is something that user will give on their own. We don't have control over password. Email address is something that we need to check. So what are the things that can happen here? If someone is writing a username which already exists, so we have to provide them with some kind of error. And at the same time, if someone is typing the same email address and signing up again, so we have to provide them an error that, yeah, this user already exists. So how we'll do that? So we'll look into that in this particular next thing that we are gonna do. In that you will see what all conditions that we give. So our first condition is to find in our database or model whether that user exists or not. So let's just go ahead and do user dot find one. So you'll find all these functions in your Mongoose documentation, which is there. You can always search for Mongoose documentation. All these functions that I am writing, uh, all these will be present over there. And we need to do an OR, correct? So our condition is an OR between two things. So we'll write over here these two conditions. Like, first of all, let's just go ahead and write this. We are taking a data variable and we are storing request.body into it. So this particular thing gets stored over here. Okay. So we'll write user.find and the condition over here is OR, and we'll check whether that username already exists. So we'll write username data dot username. We'll provide the body like this only. Whatever is in our model, we'll always try to provide the body like that. Okay. And then the next condition will be email address. Let's see the spelling over here and here matches. Uh, and then we'll write user name, not user actually, data dot email address. If these two are the things, then what we need to do is dot, then we'll write user, okay, and then we'll do a catch. So this is another way of writing your promises. So you write a dot then statement, and then after that you write a dot catch statement to catch any kind of error that is popping up. So whenever you write errors, your status code that you should send over here is 500. We all know about the latest 500 error that came in the channel that I am uploading the video on. So yeah, these kind of catches allows you to do that. Okay. So we'll do dot JSON and over here we'll write message. And let's see in our response.json 500 means what? Internal server error. So there was some error that came up because of which we were not able to run this query. So we'll write response, and since it is a JSON, so we'll take the response 500 value like this. Okay. Now, now we have to give a condition over here that if we get a user value, we don't want any user value. That means the user over here should be null, completely null. So if we get a user value, we need to return a statement over here, and we are taking for duplicates. Let's just see conflict duplicate 409. So I wrote 409, and then we'll write JSON message as response 409. So if the user exists, then we need to provide him with the conflict and duplicate error that we need to have. We can always write the error, we can always write something like field names matching, whatever you can write, you can mismatching, and you can give your own message over here as well. You don't have to worry about responses, but I keep it like that so that we are always aligned in these scenarios. Okay. Else, if user is there, then return this. Else, what we want to do is we want to create that particular data that we have. We want to insert that data directly into our database. So for that, we'll do this user.create. This is again a function. And over here, provide the JSON data that you are getting. So username data dot username email address. Why I'm doing this is because all of our details is not there in, will not be present in the body. Like token will not be present in the body. Otherwise, you can just directly write data and it will take the JSON and insert that. Okay. So going on email address. So over here, the order doesn't matter. If the fields are there, it will insert in whatever order you give. Okay. Now, there is one more thing, right? So over here, what we did was, let's just comment this out, checking if username or email address already exists. Over here, exists, then duplicate. Okay. Otherwise, create or insert the data into collection. Don't worry over here, guys. We wrote create, but it is not gonna create your collection every time. It's gonna just append the data if the collection is already there. So we'll look into it. We'll look into it via our MongoDB Compass that we yesterday installed. Now, we all know that when we want to store a password, that password should always be, uh, it should have some kind of it should be encrypted, right? So there should be some kind of encryption that should go in to save our password. So over here we are gonna use a very simple um, module of npm, which is just MD5, which is which basically converts your data into. So we are gonna be using over here. I'll write MD5 for encrypting password so that no one can directly retrieve and see password of the user. And the person who is the admin of the database should also not have access to see the password. So it's each individual's property. So if we are making it via the standards, there is more standard where we use bcrypt.js. But for now, just for understanding, we are doing MD5. And then we'll also use something called as an object ID model of MongoDB to create token. We'll talk about it, how we are gonna do it. So for now, just do npm i MD5 and MongoDB. So we are gonna install MongoDB and MD5 into our system. So over here, just let's just write these two, const MD5 just below this. Okay. So over here, let's just write const MD5 equal to require MD5. You can always give single quotes, double quotes, doesn't matter that much. Okay. Const will import one function which is there over here called as object ID, which is there in our MongoDB. So we'll write require MongoDB. So there are two ways of writing this. One way was this, and the other way was object ID without this curly and require MongoDB dot object ID bracket open bracket close, just like this we wrote. Okay. So there are two ways of doing it. So we wrote it this way. And now let's just go ahead and do whatever we need to do. So we need to store our password. So I'll store our password via MD5 of our data of password. So this will store a encrypted value into your system. And what else do we need, guys? We need a token, right? So how do we generate a token? So what I'll do is from that object ID model that I got, I'll just write object ID plus object ID, and we'll store it like this. Like there'll be a token which is gonna be stored as a random object ID generated by the MongoDB, and we need to also store timestamp. Over here, if you see what else we need, token, password, email address, everything is here. We need to store the timestamp as well. So similarly over here, let's just write it the way we have over there so that there is no confusion and we are maintaining whatever is required. So we have to write timestamp. So how do we get timestamp in millisecond? We write new date dot get time. So this will give you the UTC standard time. For India standard time, you can always offset by plus 530 and it will give you that time as well. Okay. So now once we do this, okay, uh, all of the things are ready. So once we get this, we'll write final response as, let's just do console.log first. Console.log user is created and then return res.status. What was the status for created? 201. Cool. 201 dot JSON message response 201. Correct? The spelling mistake happened. Seriously? Yeah. Because once you sign up, you don't have to send any data back. It will happen only when you are gonna log in. So basically what I do is I also write a catch here so that all of my code is completely sanitized properly. Okay. There is no use of a catch here, but just for the sake of having it so that you never miss a catch statement, I write everything in dot then dot catch blocks. Okay. So yeah. So I think this is pretty much good, right? We checked for the condition, otherwise insert data. Over here, let's just write encrypting our password. Then over here, generating a random token, correct? So we also did console.log. We commented out the things. We wrote a catch statement. And in case of any kind of error, you can always write it here, console.log error. And over here also, just write console.log so that you are able to see what error you are getting. Okay. So let's just go ahead and do this, guys, and see what happens. So I think this is pretty much it regarding creating a sign up API. This will do our job. Okay, we'll talk about JW token and everything later, or not on this particular bootcamp, but when we'll have another advanced version where we'll be doing complete security. So over there we'll talk about. Okay, so let's just do npm install and then we'll do not npm install. Why we are doing this? We'll do nodemon index.js. So over here you are seeing, right, MongoDB connected successfully, listening on port 4000. Let's just save this. Yeah. So this is working completely fine. What were the fields that we needed to add here? So fields were username and username as ASDF. Okay. So let's see what happens when we only give username. Is it gonna store that data? Let's see. There is some problem. So there is unhandled rejection happening. Illegal argument undefined. So over here we are seeing that undefined things are coming in because of this. Okay. So yeah, but Again, our response is 200. Okay, why? Okay, fine. Amazing. Over here only we are sending the response, so that's why the rest of the code will not run actually. So let's just remove this. Actually, let's just keep this so that we understand what is coming in the body. Okay. And when you do this, you get an internal server error, and all these things are getting printed: illegal argument, undefined. Your whatever we gave, that arguments were not even present. Okay. So let's just write username as something that we can. Let's just write email address as something like let's just give Sonu kr7 at the rate gmail.com, or 1111. Okay, let's just give password as ASDF1234. Let's just give this. We are not having any checks right now, but we'll think about how to do that. So what else is needed? Username, email, and password is there. Then that's okay, right? So let's just remove this, and then let's just run this and see. See, message created. So we want to see if this user was created or not. Okay. So we'll pause it here, and then I'll bring in MongoDB Compass and we'll see whether the user was there or not. So guys, if you see here, this particular instance was not connected. Like our DB name was not specified, so nothing came up here. Okay. So for that, let's go ahead here and change this DB name to whatever DB we provided. So we provided something called as eCart, which is a triple A over here, right? So let's just change over here, and we didn't catch that exactly. That's why this particular error never showed up. Okay, and let's just create this and then check again. Okay, so there is a refresh here. Collection. So it's not coming up. We'll see about it, or maybe there is some problem, but we'll see. 1 second. So guys, the problem was, you can go ahead and see that the username and password that was given in our MongoDB Compass were different. So you can always copy this and paste it there. And now you'll see this. Okay. So over here, if you see user, so this user is right now there. Token got generated. The password is encrypted. Email address is there. So now let's just test another scenario over here, which is basically testing via the same information whether it is gets created or not. Okay, so let's just do that. See, we got a message conflict duplicate. Let's just change one and see if the other one is getting affected or not. Okay, KR71 conflict duplicate. We changed one, this. Now let's keep that and also check this if this will work or not. So a combination of both of these will only work. Like even one of these are having a duplicate, it will not work. So similarly, we can always go ahead and create another one with some other name, and it shows created. So if you refresh this, see over here there is a refresh, so you can refresh that, and you will see your timestamp, everything coming in. So things are getting stored in our database, right? So now, if you want to save this particular collection to your in your this thing you can always create new workspace, then create new collection. Over here just write man boot camp, so that you don't miss this password and everything that you have. So just create this, and when you are here just press Ctrl S, select this man bootcamp collection, and if you want to change the URL to, let's say, user sign up, so save to man bootcamp. So over here if you see, your request will have, this is a post request with user sign up in it. So yeah, so these things are saved. Even if you click cancel it, you will see that this is saved. So yeah, advantages of using Postman is this: you can share this with your teammates as well, but we'll talk about that later. But for now, I think this pretty much works, right? So let's just go ahead and start writing another API. So we are gonna keep authentication. So there is one authentication over here. So you can write multiple routers over here. You don't have to modularize everything. So let's just go ahead and write router dot post slash what else will be there, login. Okay. So in login, there are two ways you can allow a user to log in: via username or via email address. So that's up to you how you allow a user to log in. Okay. So let's go ahead and see. So over here, what we'll do is similar condition. You can always write if the person is entering a username or password. Okay, you can give that condition, but for now, let's just keep it simple. So first thing is allow login via user name. We are keeping it simple. You can just tweak the code and you can always allow login via username or password. So all these conditions you can give, right? So allow login via username. So let's just go ahead and find whether that user exists or not with that username. So first thing that we do in this is let data is equal to request dot body. Okay, which is just defining a variable so that we can capture all the requested data that we got in all the data that we got in the request. Okay, so user name, and then we'll have data dot username. So there will be two fields. So you don't have to create another model for it. It's gonna take the same model, and in that only it will check out whatever things it has to check, because there is no any we are not saving data over here, right? So based on that we can provide. Okay, and let's just go ahead and see if not user. Okay, then return. That means the username does not exist. We are randomly providing some username and trying to log in. So over here, just write, since this is not a conflict, right? That username does not exist. So we'll write no content data not found. So over here, we'll write JSON message response. You can see here, right? Over here we checked if user exists, then we don't want to create it. That's why conflict and duplicate came. And over here, if user is not existing, that means there is some problem, right? Like that user is not there and someone is trying to log in. So it is all the assumptions that you take. So over here, let's just write checking if user name exists in DB. Okay, now to the else part. Over here also we'll have two conditions, right? You can write both the conditions over here. There'll not be a problem as such. Let's just go ahead and write that so that but we need to give another type of error message if your data, if your password is wrong, right? So we'll see that and we'll write it in the hierarchical way only. So now we have user data coming in if that particular user is present. So what we'll do is we'll do MD5 check of data.password is equal to user dot password. We all know we use triple equal to in JavaScript for exactly matching whether the type and everything is also matched. Okay, rest dot status 200 dot JSON data. If it is matching, we need to send the data back. So we'll provide data user and message as response 200. So this is a basic authentication mechanism. So you can ask questions like why we are sending passwords and everything. But yeah, you can not send, but right now we are just doing a basic one. Okay, checking if password entered in body is same as DB password in document. So we call each row or each value or each object in MongoDB as a document. Okay. So now else we need to return a statement, right? What statement that should be? Password do not match. So 410. So let's just give that 410. Don't write password. Password is incorrect. Okay. So do not match means that there is confirmed password and password. Password is incorrect. Okay. So we'll do this and then 410.json uh, message as response 410. Correct? So I think by this means we'll be able to do. So right now, see, since we started doing this, we missed out one thing, which is our catch block. So we should not be doing that at all. So for that matter, let's just go ahead and write return res.status 500.json message response 500. Correct? So this always goes in our catch block, and we also write a console.log to console.log our error. You can always send the error as well, but for now we are just writing console.log error. Okay. So now router.post login is looking fine, right? So let's go ahead and check that. So we'll not hamper this. So get changes to post. Then we'll write HTTP colon double slash local host colon 4000 slash login, right? And in our body, we'll come here, do raw binary JSON. And over here, we'll write simple. What do we need? We need a username and we need a password, right? So first of all, let's just give a random username. Okay, and password also random, and let's just check. Then we'll go ahead and give it the proper one. Okay, so now let's just do a post request of this and see what happens. No content data not found. That means username does not exist, right? So now in this case, when we had this, okay, what was the body that we gave? We gave Sonu KR7 in our database. Let's just see. We gave Sonu KR7. So let's just write Sonu KR7. Okay, and let's see. Oops, password is incorrect because we didn't provide the correct password. So things are working fine, right? Things are working fine over here. So nothing is breaking. Once we give, see, it provided you the complete data that you want. You just have to store this token for future purposes. So it's working completely fine. And yeah, so always go ahead and save this user login. So this is how you can make a basic authentication API in Node.js. So today we'll be covering this much, and after that we'll meet again tomorrow to create some more models of products. So since we are building an e-commerce application, we'll build models of products, orders, everything. And similarly, we'll write APIs for all of those, post, get, everything. Okay. So yeah, on that note, guys, thank you so much. And please join our Discord server. And we have this bootcamp session every day at around 11 a.m. So if you are going to join the session, you can ask questions directly to me if you get any kind of compilation issues or everything. The Discord link will be on the description. Just go ahead and uh, uh, click on that. You'll be able to join our session. And apart from that, guys, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. It will help us in growing faster. So yeah, on that note, thank you.